Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome back to the Denver Bears franchise. We sit here at 25-16. Boy, has it been quite the journey to get to this point where we have a comfortable record here to start this season. About 9 games over 500. We haven't started this well at all in this series. And we're starting to go up against these tough teams and actually win these games like this one. We had Mike Soroka on the mound versus San Diego, and we got out to a 6-1 lead before giving up a couple of runs in the 8th, and then we added 2 more in the 9th. Mike Soroka actually got 2 hits in this game to help himself out on the mound. Look at those stats. 1.97 ERA, 0.92 whip. He is 5-2 to start the season, and we end up winning 3 of 4 versus San Diego at the end of May here, including a 5-2 victory versus this great San Diego team who just hasn't been able to get over the Dodgers in the division. I'm hoping that we don't even let them do that. It's our turn this time. So we do get a trade offer for Brendan Rodgers, a guy that we came into the season knowing that we might trade, and DJ Stewart is offered from the Twins. The former Baltimore Oriole is now playing for the Twins, hitting .281 this year, .369 on base percentage, actually hitting very, very well. He gets on base at a high clip. I really like that offer. But I'm going to wait to make anything because we did get a couple of trade offers like Gurriel here. I mean, he is dynamic. He plays every position. He's not the greatest defensively, though. That's the only thing, but he can hit very well. He's on the last year of his deal just like DJ Stewart is. I'm not going to make a trade, but let me know what you guys think of those 2 trades and who you think would be best there. I'm going to hold off until maybe the trade deadline to see exactly what we need at that point, but we do have 2 trade offers for Brendan Rodgers already. Now, we end up winning a lot of games here in the month of May and moving on to the month of June where we actually beat the Phillies here 6-1, including, a pretty good game from Will Benson. He's only hitting .216, though. He's got to get that average up. I do keep Will Benson in the lineup mostly for his defense. I think he still has the hitting potential. He was second on the team in home runs last year. I think he was second or third. And I think that, he does have a bright future with us. He's great defensively. And we start out the month of June 34-22, as we did face a couple of tough teams at the end of the month before hopping into the MLB draft. Now, this year, I let the computer do a lot of scouting for us. So last year, I made it so that, I wanted to manually scout guys, and I think it kind of paid off. So this year, I will do my own. I will let the computer do their own scouting and not interfere with them. So we are down here with the picks. We have a competitive balance round B pick this year. No more, competitive balance round A or competitive balance picks, as here we are all the way down at pick 23, the latest that we've chosen in this draft. And make sure you guys do submit your prospects this episode. How I'm going to do it is I'm going to rename the draft picks for the division teams. I'm not going to do it all around the MLB. I'm going to do it just for the division teams. It's easier to keep up with you guys that way. And, it takes a while to kind of create all those guys. So make sure you get your submissions in. Template will be in the description. Actually, the template will be in the comment section, but here in the first pick, I'm thinking about a couple of guys. Felix Cabrera is really good. Daniel Burns is also there. We do not have these guys fully scouted like we usually do. Daniel Burns is a lefty, 70 overall, 80 potential at 22 years old, but we have him I'd say about 60 to 70% scouted. And then there's Connie Ambrose. We have him about 30% scouted. So I think that he would be a bigger risk here. You never want to trust that 80 overall and 80 potential. So I go back to Felix Cabrera because he is 19 years old. This draft, I kind of want to just draft guys that are good for the future and guys that we don't have to rush up, because the last couple of years I've been drafting guys that are ready sooner rather than later. This year I want to kind of take my time. So he is our first pick in Cabrera onto the competitive balance round, or is this a second round? Jim Winston is here, 75 potential, 70 overall. He can play all outfield positions and second base. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Zion Storm. He has pretty good fielding, good speed, good contact, not a lot of power. but I decided to go with him. I kind of like that pick right there, a safe pick and a guy that we can develop in our organization as a middle infielder. We don't know what we're going to have in the future of middle infield. So on to the competitive balance round B selection, and a guy that I was looking at selecting in the first round was Daniel Burns. He is still on the board at age 22, another lefty we can add to our pitching staff. I really like that pick, and we have a couple of good lefties, but Patrick Summers is off to a slow start, so I'm going to add another lefty to our organization here. Now, in the next round, I'm kind of looking at relief pitchers, and the reason why is because we never draft relief, ever. So I'm going to go after relief here. Alberto Chavez is a pretty good prospect. We don't have him fully scouted, about like 30% scouted, so we can't really trust everything we're looking at. But then I look at Chris Montoya, 75 overall, 75 potential, a power hitting first baseman. I see him here and I think to myself, relief pitchers usually fall in the draft, so I go after Chris Montoya, hopefully a good hitter for us in the future. Round number 4, Daniel Cummings is still there. I do like him as a relief guy. I go back to him. He does stay on the board. We end up selecting him there. On to the 5th round now. Pick number 23 again, and our board is getting a little slim. But I decided to go after Alberto Chavez. He is still on the board. He is a guy that I just pointed out a couple of rounds ago. I said that hopefully if he drops, I will get him, and he did. And with the last pick, not a lot of guys to choose from and no accuracy at all. So we're really just, guessing at this point. We go with Robbie Hessman, a catcher, another catching prospect to add to our organization. So let's look at our first round pick here in Felix Cabrera. He is 19 years old. He ends up being 64 overall. I thought he was going to be a little bit higher, but he ends up being a high B potential, not an A, but a high B at 88 potential. Great velocity though at 99. I think he's going to be a guy that we can develop. 19 years old. So that means in about 3 years he'll probably be mid 70s overall. I'm guessing with that's what it will be, and depending on how well he actually performs, it could be even higher, but I think that's what it's going to be right there. We started with our first round pick in season 1. He's now at 69 overall, Jermaine Wetzel. So we will see him later in this episode. Jim Winston ends up being our second round pick. He ends up being 73 overall in C potential. He looks a lot like Zion Storm, to be honest with you. Just looking at his speed, looking at his fielding and his reaction, very good. And his contact and vision are very good. His clutch is up there as well. So he's a guy that we can actually pretty much use pretty soon, sooner rather than later. Now, Daniel Burns ends up being pretty good as well. One thing I like about him is that his hits per 9 are up there. I think that's one thing that you'll see in this episode that a couple of our prospects do lack is hits per 9 that are high. So I like Burns. He ends up being 88 overall. So it looks like Felix Cabrera is 84 potential, and Burns is 88 potential. So he is our highest potential guy. We draft Chris Montoya. We kind of took a chance on him. He is an excellent hitter, but his fielding is bad, which kind of makes his potential go down a little bit. And I kind of hate D potential because you can't really do anything with it. Like, the guys don't progress. They just pretty much stay the same or decline. I don't really like that. If you're in the MLB and you get drafted, you're obviously going to get better. You're not going to get worse. So I might change these D potentials to a C, and it'll be a low C obviously, but I kind of hate the D potential logic. I just don't like how players decline once you draft them. It just doesn't make sense. Daniel Cummings ends up being a D potential as well, but another 70 overall guy. Alberto Chavez, also 72 overall D potential. Look at his hits per 9 at 87. I mean, he could be at the MLB right now. That's how good it looks like he is. He's got 89 velocity, 80 break too. I mean, the guy can absolutely pitch. Robbie Hessman was our last pick, 63 overall. Like I said, I think I'm going to change these D potentials to a C. Just make it a little more realistic. Guys just don't decline right away. So we will see how that goes. Like I said, around the division, I will be renaming these guys along with last year's draft picks. I have those marked So make sure you guys get your submissions in, and you guys will fill up these guys on other squads around the NL West. Looking at the Giants, they drafted the highest potential guy in the division, 97 potential as a closing pitcher. And I like to give these guys a little bit of an attribute boost too, just so that they get up to the show a little quicker. They're not as slow developing as our guys, but I like to give them that little boost. So for the rest of this episode, I want to look at our first round draft picks from every single season, starting with season number 1. Jermaine Wetzel was our first round pick. He is now 69 overall. It's been 4 years he's been in our organization now. He's got up to 69 overall, which is pretty good because, we started out with him. We drafted him at 59, I believe, overall. I think it was actually lower than that. I think it was like 57, 56. But he ends up being a 69 now, and I think he's now starting to turn a corner a little bit. His numbers are a whole lot better than they used to be. He's at AA with the Yard Goats. Let's see how he does in this game. His stats aren't the greatest, but I think that he is just progressing as he walks the leadoff batter here versus Binghamton, and that brings up next Bauer Shane to the plate, who hits a chopper to first. Double play ball. Santiago Contador playing first base today, and he gets the double play here. 3-6-3 double play. As that brings up Mohamed Snavely, who is the best hitter in AA right now. He leads all-star voting by a wide margin. He gets a pop up to left field, and that one will be a 1-2-3 inning. On to the top of the second here. Man on first base again. Here's a chopper to Santiago again, and that will be a double play as Jermaine Wetzel covers first base. I like what Wetzel's doing now. I like what he has in his pitching repertoire now. I think, when we first drafted him, he was a bit raw. I mean, he did not hit the plate often. His pitches were getting smacked when they were over the plate, and now it looks like he's hitting his spots. I'm trying to hit the corners here, making sure he can have some command here, and now we're moving on to the 5th inning. Haven't given up a run yet, and look at the pitch location on that changeup. Outside corner, strike 3, only his second strikeout of the game, but they're not getting good contact, and look at that one. Outside corner, 97-mile-an-hour fastball in the 5th inning. Now we're on to the 7th inning. Here's Bauer Shane back at the plate. This one gets a little bit too much of the zone, and out of here. Dunkin' Donuts Park has a very short wall in right field. That one was hit only 373, but it looked like it cleared the fence by like 100 feet. And now it's a 1-3 game, but Wetzel still pitching well. Fly ball to deep left, but it stays in the yard. That is an out. And now with 2 outs, another ground ball to first, and what an outing by Jermaine Wetzel. I mean, he looked absolutely magical in this game. I think finally our first round pick is starting to show here in season number 1. Gotta love it. He ends up going 7 innings, giving up only 2 hits, walking 2, and striking out 3. That will help the old stats. He does not get the win in this one because it looks like Binghamton did come back in the 7th and 8th inning, but he was already pulled by then. So I love what I see from Jermaine Wetzel. Let's check out season number 2's first round pick, and that is going to be Mohamed Willingham, a very capable right-handed hitter. We've developed him quite a bit. He had a full year in the minors before getting moved up about halfway, at least maybe not even halfway, maybe like a third through the season last year. This year he's playing his first full season at the major league level. And I think that the issue with Mohamed Willingham is that he does get fatigued very easily. You see the splits here. He's hitting 346 versus lefties, below 220, at least 230 for right-handed hitters. So I want to see what he can do facing Keller on the mound, a righty, as we do strike out with the first at-bat here, as he is hitting about 260 on the year. I think he's starting to come around. We did give him a break at first base, starting to give Charlie Blackmon some more at-bats. Here he gets under a pitch, barely missing that one. That's just a fly ball to center field. Now, I plan on moving up another prospect here. I like what Charlie Blackmon's doing, but, he's hitting about 240 on the season. I want to get somebody else up there, one of our prospects who's been hitting well at the AAA level, and I will reveal who that is next episode. But here's a fly ball to center field. He is 0 for 3 in this game. Hopefully he can straighten it out here at the beginning of June facing the Pirates in a 3-game set. And Mohamed Willingham comes up for his fourth at-bat, this time facing Sean Poppin. He gets a hanger and goes with it to right field. This one gets to the wall in right field. He gets his first hit of the game. He's rounding first, headed to second, and he will have a double, so he does get one hit in this game. Mohamed Willingham, I drafted him to be really the star of this series. I was very excited when he dropped to us. We had pick number 8 in season number 2. I thought he was going number 1 overall. The Pittsburgh Pirates had the number 1 pick that year, and here he is facing a team where he grew up watching. He is from Pennsylvania, and we do get the win in this one, 4-2. The Denver Bears just keep winning at the MLB level. Now, in season number 3, our first round pick was Kenny Martinez, a very underrated hitter in our organization. He was hurt last year because he did actually, I believe, tore a muscle, and he did get benched for, I guess sidelined. I shouldn't say benched, but sidelined for the season. It kind of derailed his development a little bit. But today, he's hitting .237 at the AA level with the Yard Goats. He is hitting very, very solidly. Like, a lot of his contact here, as you see, this is a hit to center field. But look at the speed. This is what's underrated about Kenny Martinez. He has the speed to do some things. His defensive attributes are not that good, though. But he can run the bases very, very well. He kind of reminds me of a better running Charlie Blackmon. The way he makes contact, the way he hits the ball on a frozen rope. I mean, the guy can absolutely swing the stick from both sides of the plate. I really am looking forward to his development, and I think that, just give him one more year in the minor leagues. He could be ready for the show. Who knows? Because I am looking for another guy I can potentially move up, and I will be looking for an outfielder as well. Martinez is bad defensively, though. That's the only thing. I might, in the future, end up moving Martinez to first base because of his fielding and moving Mohamed Willingham to left field. I don't know. Kenny Martinez is a fast player as he hits into a double play right here. He is faster, but Mohamed Willingham is a better fielder. Not a great fielder, just a better fielder. He doesn't have bad speed either. He's in the 60s in speed. So I guess we'll have to see. Come 2 seasons from now, I don't know how that's going to look. Now, here is last year's first round pick in Patrick Summers. We saw him a couple of episodes ago, and he struggled. He is still struggling so far this year. 1.58 whip, 6.39 ERA. He is 1-5 in 9 starts. And if this start doesn't go well, I'm definitely going to be moving him down to the AA Yard Goats, and hopefully he can get some reps there. I don't want to hurt his progression. He is 24 years old. He is an older prospect, left-handed pitcher. I love his pitching motion. I think his deficiencies is that he does need to cut down on the pitches. He has 5 pitches in his repertoire. I think it's just too many to handle. He needs to focus on maybe 3, maybe 4, and I think that will, help his development. I don't think he's a relief pitcher. I think he is a starting pitcher, so I don't think I'm going to make that move for him. But I think that he just needs to cut down on the number of pitches that he handles. And he does get out of the first inning, though, but gave up a couple of hits. And that's been his Achilles heel. He's gave up so many hits so far this season. On to the top of the second here. And here, Jason Martin at the plate. He hits one deep to right field, and it barely misses the foul pole, only 3 feet to the right. As Jason Martin continues this at bat, and he straightens it out. This one's deep to right field. This one will get down, and that one will be a triple, as it looks like with 74 speed, you will easily get to third in this park. And Albuquerque Isotopes are doing okay this year, but our ace, I guess, supposed to be Patrick Summers, is not doing well. 1-2 count here for the next batter. Going up the box, and that one will just get enough wood on it to sneak through the infield for a single to center. As Patrick Summers continues this inning now, it's a 1-0 game. Here is Miguel Sayeno, and that one will be a single. Amaya, actually. What am I saying? And that one gets up the middle. Jermaine Daughtry at the plate now. He goes to right field. This one's just a fly ball, but it will probably be deep enough to advance the runner to third base. And now still 1 out in this inning. Is Patrick Summers giving up a lot of hits so far. Chris Stewart at the plate, one of our subscriber prospects. He walks. And that one will bring it to bases loaded here with the next batter. That is Yanni Hernandez at the plate. He hits one hard to left field. That one is absolutely smoked off of the track, off of the wall. It scores 2. It's 3-0 here for the Rock Round Express. And it looks like they are not done in the second inning. Here is a hit to left field, actually stopped by the third baseman. Nice play, but we almost had double play, but Tyson Garraway playing second base cannot turn it on that one. As now here comes Santi Sanchez to the plate. Hard hit to the right side. That one will be snagged, but Patrick Summers only pitches 2 innings in this game. Gave up a whole lot of hits. Round Rock does win this one. And I think that, Summers is going to get moved down. I'm definitely going to be doing it. He gave up 6 hits through 2 innings, 4 earned runs, walked 2 as well, didn't strike out anybody. And, that's the thing about him. I think he's just going to need some development. I thought that he would be ready for AAA right away, but it seemed like, no, that's not the case. Some other prospects we drafted were ready for AAA right away, but just not him. As we move into the month of June, you can just see we're winning a lot of games at this point. We are 12th in the league in batting average, hitting .256 as a team. 9th in on-base percentage. We're actually hitting very, very well. How about C.J. Abrams? .399 on-base percentage. He has come out of nowhere. And we are also 6th in ERA as well. We are closing in on the All-Star game, and Jordan Hicks has the top votes in the NL for a relief pitcher, and deservedly so this year. He is having a significantly better season, the best season of his career. 25 saves. He's at a 1.44 ERA, below a 1 whip as well. He is pitching phenomenal this year. Rafael Marchand is getting some votes for catcher, which is awesome because how many of you guys said that Marchand needed some help? He's hitting pretty good. Willingham is not hitting as well as I thought he would. I thought that he would hit about 280 or so this year, but it's up at 260. He is improving. Eugenio Suarez is actually 4th in All-Star voting at third base. And looking at, other positions, we don't really have anybody, which I'm surprised. Seeing C.J. Abrams hit as well as he is, he's not getting enough love as well. Because he's hitting .302, .399 on the year. So I'm surprised he's not getting much more love than he is. Looking at the rest of our guys, though, Max McDowell has his average up to .283. He's not hitting as much as he would like because Marchand has been the full-time catcher pretty much, and he's actually doing pretty good. .366 on-base percentage for Marchand. Also, a pretty good on-base percentage from Willingham. He's .336. So Willingham doesn't have the average high, but he's at least getting on base. But our pitching staff, I can't say the same for. We are doing excellent so far. Giovanni Gallegos has a 119 whip. He's got that whip down. Everybody in the bullpen has got their whip down as well. Not too bad there. And I just love what we are doing right now heading into the month of July. We are on a 6-game winning streak. 8-10 in our last 10. 8-2 in our last 10, what am I saying? We are 19-10 during the day, which is very significant, and 25-13 on the road. We are a good road team. Just look at the other teams in our division. The Dodgers are down at 36-33. They are 7.5 games back. I don't think that will last. I think they're going to make a run in the second half of the season. The Padres are in second right now, but I think the Dodgers are going to start to make their run. The Giants are below 500, and the Diamondbacks look like they're going to be finishing in last place this year. So that's going to do it this episode. I really, really enjoyed playing with our first round picks. Let me know what you guys think of the draft picks, and make sure you guys get your submissions in down below. It will be in the pinned comment. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I hope the rain don't come in November, 'cause the summer went way too fast. I'm trying real hard to remember